Hey adventure, welcome to the quest of blogging. And today I would like to talk about color palettes. I talk a lot about them on my blog, and I have Pinterest account where I post a lot of color palettes inspired by Finnish nature and by nature in general. So today I would like to show how I create them. And well, outside of having images of color palettes you want to create, that's basically the process, how I do things. So first I will make myself smaller again. I guess like so is good. So this is Pinterest account, and well, there are not a lot of color palettes recently, but I post them and I have actually quite a bit of a queue at the moment, which I have to post. But if we go here to Nature Color Palettes board, I'd like to show, I guess, my earliest color palettes. It was last winter when I started posting. And I'd like to show you that basically when you want to create color palettes and if you want to start posting them on any social media platform, that you should experiment. Don't be afraid to experiment. I would like to show basically when I started. This was my first color palette, and that's not at all the way I do things right now, but I wanted to try it out. I wanted to see how it would feel or how it would look like. And it's still there. For example, I tried something like this as well, something different. Just wanted to try something different. I wanted to find my style. Something like this also. I guess afterwards I realized that these kind of patterns were not really working for me, and I decided to go back to more standard, so to circles. But I didn't want to just have standard circles. I wanted to use different shapes. And I guess this was going on for a while. And finally, in the end, I came up with this, and it's a standard palette or a standard template I have right now for my color palettes, where I have my color swatch, and then there is a white border around it. The border doesn't depend on the color inside. The only thing I make sure when I post that the text, the hex code of the color, is going to have good contrast with the background color. And that's very important when you're making your palettes as well. Just remember to check that the contrast, that the color or the text, whatever is there, that it's readable. All right. So first, yes, this is the Figma file I created that you can find on Figma community with color palette template for Pinterest name. I will link it as well down below the video. And here, please let me know if you have any questions or comments, and if perhaps this is a bit too much or not enough the way this is set up. But I was trying to basically give more freedom and more possibilities of how you could create color palettes. Because, for example, if you go back to Pinterest and we just look for color palette, we can see that there are many different ways to do that. It's in my pins, sorry, all pins. So here, for example, you could use different shapes. It doesn't have to be circles, rectangles. You could use shapes outside of the image. And quite a bit of the images or color palettes don't actually have hex codes or any kind of text on top of the color, so you're not sure what color it is. They still look quite good for inspiration, but I personally like showing what hex codes those are, so the person that looks for inspiration doesn't have to search for it themselves. So when we're here, there are a couple of possibilities. You have 4 swatches and 5, or choice between 4 swatches and 5, and choice between having swatches that don't have any hex code, or swatches where you could input the hex code of your color palette. And also, for example, if you decide to copy this palette, or this template, and not palette, for your image and for your color palette, and then you decide, you upload your image, you choose colors, and then you realize, oh damn, I want to have text on top of them, so hex codes. You can simply click on the group of swatches, go to the right corner in Figma and click color palette hex, and then you will have the possibility to input the hex codes for the colors that you are choosing. So it's not like you can only copy this and that's it, you are done for. Then you would have to just copy around, change things. The only thing, important thing to remember, if you want to input the hex codes, how to input them, because the file doesn't recognize the colors by itself, so you need to change the text manually. But I will show it right now by using an image. But to be honest, I don't want to use 5 colors. I want to experiment with my palettes, so I will use the template with 4 swatches, and then you'll go to File, Place Image, and then I'd like to place this image inside. Then, so my process starts that I simply input image inside the template. I press on the first color swatch, or whatever, the color swatch on the template, and then I press fill, and I use color picker tool to look for the color I like. However, it was not always this way. When I just started, it was I didn't have the confidence of simply inputting the image and choosing colors the way I saw them. I would use quite, I guess, old school tool, Adobe Color, and they had a pretty cool extract theme, a pretty cool tool. Sorry. So here, and essentially Adobe Color, the extract theme place, would choose colors for you. So at first I could just use these colors, so I would simply copy each color and put them back, paste them back into the template. However, you can as well, if you want to try out Adobe Color, you can move the color swatches that it shows for you. So you can play around with the file, and see what you like more, if you feel more comfortable doing it this way. And why I liked Adobe Color is because it gives you the freedom to change colors. So it doesn't just, you don't just upload the image and that's it, you are done for. You can actually do things with it. I checked if I'm recording, because, well, what if I'm not recording? That would be really sad, wouldn't? Alright, so I go back to my template, and then I click, select the first color swatch, and I'm looking. I like this color. Mostly it's right now when I take pictures of nature, of particular objects, I see the colors, right? I see how it all plays around. So at that point, I already know that the colors that I like, what I would want to see in a template. But of course, it took time, as I mentioned, and what I showed my Pinterest journey as well with color palettes. It takes time and practice to see these things, but when you try and do it, you will be able as well to just upload something or take a picture of something and see the way it could play out. And hope I'm making sense, might not, but anyway, we keep going. Also, another idea that you can simply click on this section and check out on the right side of the screen selection colors, and it's much actually easier way to change colors of the swatches. So right now we would go for this color, and also remember, it's your color palette. There is no right or wrong answer. It's, well, you decide how you want things to look, and it's the way you see inspiration. When you will be uploading this template, this color palette to social media you're using, it's how you want it to be seen, essentially. And now maybe a little bit too purple. Let's see. Oh, yes, I like that one. And right now as well, in here, when I started as well, I used to use, excuse me, as well Adobe Color. So I would like to show you. Adobe Color tool to see the contrast. For example, in here, white text does not really work. So you can copy this color, go to its accessibility tools, paste it, and then play around with this with the text color and see how it would look. So for me, I use only white or black text color. I don't really have to think about anything else. So I just see that it works with black. The contrast for accessibility again. So if you put it to white, contrast ratio is really bad. It's very difficult to see. So I'm going to change the text to black. Then I'm sure. Well, let's check every color. Sure. These Adobe Color tools. White is good. How about here? Black is good. All right, so we will change it to black. And then final. Sometimes you can see that colors work both with white and black. And in these kind of situations, I usually just choose what I prefer more. And at the moment, I think white looks quite nice. I also will change the text of your company name to my big lid. That's how I always sign images, especially for Pinterest. And I would highly recommend signing things when you upload your color palettes to social media. And then we have to actually change the text, the name of the colors. So basically, I just find the color name, I click on it, Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V. It's a little bit manual, but it works. And it doesn't really take that much time in the end. My opinion. Well, it doesn't take that much time, yet I haven't uploaded color palette for a little while. But yes, so at the moment it looks quite good, quite ready. So the final touch that I would add, if you would like as well to add a little bit of something different, for example, different shape to the circle, I would click separately on each swatch, and well, actually we could just shift and click on detach instance. So that way it won't be attached to our main component anymore. And then when you click and select the ellipse, you can actually change it, or change the shape. Or can you? Did I not do it here? Huh. I guess I accidentally missed that one. Okay, detach instance, and yes, here we go. So I usually do it that way, that I change just one side and I put it a little bit out. So I change the deform, so to say, the ellipse just a little bit. So that's the palette, and that's how I do them. I'd like to mention that in the templates here, I used an image from Unsplash. So for example, if you don't have your own images, or you're not comfortable with posting those, but you still want to do color palettes, I recommend going to Unsplash and using images, free images from there. But the only thing that, well, it's always good to give attribution, and you will always have the text. So when you download the image, you will have the text to put. So in your Pinterest description, or for example, if you upload the color palettes to Instagram, you could add it in the caption who the photo was taken by. But in here, the image was quite big, and for example, yes, here I still have it. So for example, when you select the image, and you see, all right, it's quite big, it might be uncomfortable. In Figma, you can simply press on the image here, on the fill, on the right side of the screen. And instead of fill, you can press crop. And then you can simply crop the image like so. It's actually quite nice. It will also tell you when it intercepts with the frame, and then you click enter. Ta-da! Done. So you don't have to be intimidated by the image anymore. Also, when the image is still there, probably should have done that before, but anyway, you can you can move it around. So if the image is bigger than the frame itself, and you want only certain part of the image, for example, the parts that I chose myself. So yeah, that's how I create color palettes for Pinterest, and I will add more sections later. So for example, the size I use for, because Instagram posts and TikTok use different frame sizes, so we can't necessarily post these nicely to Instagram. Well, Instagram story perhaps, but yeah. I hope this helped you. If you have any questions or comments, please comment down below, and see you next